When a millionaire takes a homeless woman to his ex-fiancée's wedding, no one expects what happens next. But as secrets unravel and past betrayals come to light, this night will change their lives forever. Stay with me, because you won't believe how this story ends. Welcome to this unbelievable story, a tale where pride, revenge, and unexpected love come together in the most surprising way. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Michael Davenport, a wealthy man known for his arrogance, and Lena Rivera, a homeless woman with a spirit as fierce as her past. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions, shocking revelations, and a heartwarming ending that reminds us that love can change everything. Michael Davenport was a man who had it all. In his early 30s, he had built a reputation as one of the most successful businessmen in the city. With a sharp mind and an even sharper tongue, Michael was admired by some and envied by many. But behind his confident smile and well-tailored suits, there was a hidden pain, a constant reminder of a bitter past. Not long ago, Michael's fiancée, Emily Cole, had left him for another man. Emily's departure was not only a personal betrayal, it became a public spectacle that humiliated Michael in front of friends and family. One day, as Michael sat in his lavish office, he received an invitation that made his heart sink. Emily was getting married. The wedding was set to be a grand affair, filled with glittering lights, elegant music, and all the luxury one could imagine. But to Michael, it wasn't just another wedding. It was an opportunity. Emily's upcoming wedding promised to be her final happy ending, a way for her to flaunt her success and happiness right in his face. And Michael, feeling wounded by pride and still burning with resentment, was determined to show her that he was not one to be trifled with. Instead of attending the wedding alone, Michael devised a plan. He decided that he would not only make his presence known, but would also create a moment that would leave everyone stunned. His idea was simple, yet daring. He would take a woman who, on the surface, seemed to be the exact opposite of the refined guests expected at the wedding, a homeless woman. Michael believed that by doing this, he could turn the tables on Emily and make her feel the sting of public humiliation. In the early hours of a chilly autumn morning, Michael set out on his mission. He drove through the bustling streets of the city, his mind already racing with plans. It wasn't long before he spotted her, a woman sitting on a worn-out bench in a quiet corner of a busy park. Her name was Lena Rivera. Her clothes were old and tattered, her hair unkempt, and her eyes held a defiant spark that hinted at a deeper story. Despite her rough appearance, there was something in her gaze that suggested she had lived through hardships and emerged stronger. Michael parked his sleek car beside the bench and approached Lena with a determined stride. "I have a proposition for you," he said bluntly. His voice, confident and commanding, startled Lena. She looked up slowly, her eyes filled with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. "And what do you have in mind?" Lena asked, her tone both challenging and intrigued. Michael explained his plan in simple words. He would take her to Emily's wedding as his guest. In return, she would receive a generous sum of money. But Lena was not a woman to be bought without conditions. "I'm not interested in charity," she replied sharply. "If I agree to this, I want something in return. I want to be treated like a person, not just a prop in your game." Michael, taken aback by her boldness, realized that Lena was not as vulnerable as he had assumed. There was a fire in her that demanded respect. Smiling slightly, he promised, "I will make sure you are treated with all the respect you deserve. And trust me, I plan to transform your look completely." Lena, curious and with a hint of amusement, decided to accept his offer. but on her own terms. The stage was set for a transformation that would not only change Lena's appearance, but would also change Michael's life forever. The next part of the plan was as daring as it was dramatic. Michael took Lena to one of the city's most exclusive beauty salons. This wasn't just any salon. It was a place known for turning ordinary people into dazzling stars of high society. As Lena sat in the stylist's chair, she was given a makeover that seemed almost magical. Her hair was washed, styled, and colored into a rich shade of chestnut, framing her face perfectly. Her clothes were replaced with a sophisticated outfit that accentuated her newfound elegance, and her makeup was applied in such a way that every line on her face softened into a look of quiet determination. Michael watched this transformation in silence, his eyes fixed on Lena as she emerged from the salon. She was unrecognizable from the woman he had first seen that morning. Now, she looked like someone who belonged in the world of high society, a woman whose presence commanded attention and respect. But even as she embraced her new look, there was a mysterious calm in her eyes, as if she had done this many times before. Stepping out onto the busy city street, Lena and Michael headed for the grand venue where Emily's wedding was about to take place. The venue was a breathtaking ballroom filled with glittering chandeliers, polished marble floors, and guests dressed in their finest attire. Every step Lena took was met with stares of admiration and whispers of disbelief. Here was a woman who had risen from the streets to steal the spotlight at the most exclusive event of the season. The wedding was in full swing when they arrived. Elegant music floated through the air as guests mingled and chatted excitedly. The moment Lena and Michael walked in, a hush fell over the room. All eyes were on them. Whispers spread quickly, and soon everyone was wondering, who is that woman? Among the guests, Emily, Michael's ex-fiancée, felt an immediate pang of unease. She had expected Michael to come alone or with someone from his high-class circle. Instead, there was Lena, elegant, confident, and clearly not the kind of person she had ever imagined Michael would choose to accompany him. As Emily glanced at Michael, she saw something in his eyes that she had not expected, a hint of pride and satisfaction. But the surprise didn't end there. As the evening progressed, Lena began to mingle among the guests. With every conversation she joined, every smile she shared, she showed that she was more than just a makeover. Her words were sharp, yet kind, and her laughter was genuine. It wasn't long before people began to ask questions about her. Who was she really? And what was her story? Then, in a moment that changed the course of the evening, Lena revealed a part of her past. While speaking with a small group of intrigued guests, she said, "I once was engaged to someone who promised the world, but ended up destroying everything I had." The room fell silent. That simple statement carried the weight of a deep and painful history. The story, although brief, hinted at betrayal, loss, and a burning desire for justice. Emily's face turned pale as she listened. It was clear that Lena's past was intertwined with the secrets of high society. Michael, who had been watching from a distance, felt a mix of emotions. His plan had started as an act of revenge, but now he saw that Lena was not just a tool to embarrass his ex. She was a person with her own story, her own pain, and her own strength. As the night continued, Michael couldn't help but be drawn to Lena's quiet intensity. The way she carried herself, the grace in her movements, and the strength in her eyes made him see her in a new light. He began to wonder about the real woman behind the transformation. Who was Lena Rivera, and what was the secret of her resilience? Determined to uncover the truth, Michael started asking questions. Over the next few days, He quietly investigated Lena's past. His search led him to a shocking discovery. Lena was not simply a homeless woman who had been given a makeover. In fact, she was Lena Rivera, the daughter of a once prominent construction magnate, whose empire had been shattered by none other than Emily Cole. Years ago, Emily had been involved in fraudulent schemes that led to the ruin of Lena's family. Lena, abandoned and betrayed, had ended up on the streets while her family's legacy crumbled. This revelation changed everything. Michael realized that his initial plan, driven by pride and the desire for revenge, had taken on a whole new meaning. It was no longer just about embarrassing Emily at her wedding. It was about righting a wrong and standing up for someone who had been wronged for far too long. One evening, as Michael and Lena sat together in a quiet corner of a small cafe, he spoke softly. "I never expected to find someone like you. I thought I was doing this for revenge, but now I see that you deserve justice. And so do you." Lena looked at him, her eyes reflecting both pain and hope. "I have spent so many years living on the streets, hiding from a past that hurt me deeply. I have learned that I must fight for what is right, even if it means facing those who once made my life a living hell." From that moment, Michael and Lena became partners in a quest for truth and redemption. They worked together, gathering evidence of Emily's wrongdoings. Their efforts were methodical and careful. They collected documents, talked to witnesses, and built a case that was as solid as it was damning. Their teamwork soon caught the attention of the authorities. When the day finally came that the evidence was presented to law enforcement, Emily Cole's world began to crumble. At a high-profile press conference, the police announced that Emily was under arrest for fraud and market manipulation. The news sent shockwaves through the community, and soon every headline screamed about the fall of a once powerful figure in high society. Emily's arrest was not only a personal downfall, it was a public reckoning for the corruption that had tainted the world of wealth and power. As the legal process unfolded, Michael and Lena grew even closer. Their shared mission had transformed their relationship. What had started as a calculated plan had blossomed into genuine affection. Michael realized that he had fallen in love with Lena, a woman who was not only beautiful and brave, but who also carried a deep sense of justice and resilience in her heart. Yet, even as love began to take root, Lena was hesitant. Her past had taught her that independence was precious. She was afraid that getting too close to Michael might mean losing herself again. Michael, understanding her fears, assured her that their partnership was built on respect and equality. "I want you by my side, Lena," he said earnestly one quiet night. "Not because I need someone to complete me, but because I believe together we can create a future that is fair and just." Over time, Lena's heart softened. She began to see that Michael's intentions were pure, that beneath his cold exterior lay a man capable of deep care and loyalty. As the days turned into weeks, the bond between them grew stronger, and their shared experiences paved the way for a deep, trusting love. Then, on a bright spring afternoon, Michael decided to take the ultimate step. In a private garden filled with blooming flowers and gentle sunlight, he knelt before Lena and asked her to marry him. His words were simple and heartfelt. "Lena, I know we have both suffered and fought hard for what is right. I want to build a life with you, a life filled with hope, fairness, and above all, love. Will you marry me?" Lena, with tears in her eyes and a smile that shone like the morning sun, said yes. In that moment, all the pain of the past began to melt away, replaced by the promise of a new beginning. Their wedding was not a grand social event meant to show off wealth or status. Instead, it was a heartfelt celebration of second chances, a day when two souls, scarred by the past but hopeful for the future, came together to start a new chapter. The wedding ceremony was simple, yet deeply moving. Close friends and a few family members gathered to witness the union of two people who had fought hard to reclaim their lives. Michael and Lena exchanged vows that spoke of forgiveness, resilience, and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. As they stood side by side, their eyes locked in silent understanding, it was clear that this was not the end of their story, but the beginning of something far greater. And then, as if fate had one more surprise in store, Lena discovered that she was expecting twins. The news brought joy not only to the couple, but to everyone who had followed their journey, a journey that began with revenge and ended in redemption. Their story became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even when life seems to deal you the worst hand, you have the power to change your destiny. Today, Michael and Lena continue to build their lives together. They are not defined by their pasts, but by the choices they make every day. Michael has learned that true strength comes from compassion, and Lena has discovered that sometimes embracing love means taking a leap of faith. Together, they work to create a better world, a world where justice prevails and where every person has the opportunity to heal. As you listen to this story, think about the unexpected turns in your own life. Sometimes, the most painful moments can lead to the most beautiful beginnings. Michael and Lena's journey shows us that no matter how dark the past may be, there is always a chance for redemption, love, and happiness. Thank you for joining me on this emotional journey. If you believe in second chances and the power of love to transform lives, share your thoughts in the comments below. What would you do if you were given a chance to rewrite your story? Remember, every ending is just a new beginning waiting to unfold. And that is the story of Michael Davenport and Lena Rivera, a tale of revenge turned into redemption, of pride giving way to love, and of the incredible power that lies in second chances. Their story may have shocked the high society and humbled those who once thought themselves untouchable. But above all, it reminds us that every life has the potential for a fresh start. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep believing in the magic of new beginnings.